Good day, welcome to Do It Now. We're doing No Rest for the Wicked with Ladro. He is level 24 and currently has 50 dexterity. Unfortunately, this is another video where I have lost the original audio. I think this is 4 in a row. It's an unfortunate reality. So we're going to do the hosting job again. So this buff is now giving me 40 health, 5 stamina, and 20 focus. So because we finished the last episode after completing the lumber mill, we finished the last episode and we were told that there's a big beast, the Lost Huntress it's called, at the end of Lowland Meadows. So we're going to go down and deal with the Lost Huntress and give a couple tries at that. Just going to feed the machines again here, keep the silver going, and then we'll move on to Marin Woods, which is the area to the north. The buff in this house, there's one more video recorded after this one, and then I'm going to start working on increasing that buff, and a good way to do it is getting like pots and lights and things, and putting them on top of things, on top of chests, and putting them, you can stack them on top of themselves and put them in little heaps. So I'm going to consolidate that a bit more so that it looks nicer in here and is less cluttered, but also gives us higher comfort points. You saw me at the mill there. I'm just making sure that we keep making those planks because we're going to keep needing them. And again, Captain Randolph, you always want to be grabbing all of the bounties and challenges from him, both the dailies and weeklies, because you may be able to automatically do those in the process of just progressing the game at this stage. Late in the game, this is a big portion of the game loop. Come in, do your dailies, do your weeklies right now until they get to 1.0 on October 1st, and then there'll be some more things to do. Yeah, so part of the reason I recorded a few extra ones because I was out of town getting some medical treatment, so I recorded a few and then got them edited and got them set up and uploaded so that they would do a scheduled release. Now I am back, and this one might come out a few minutes late as well, and that's why that is. So I'm just doing the voiceover for this one. I have checked. I have one more recorded, and that one already has good voiceover, the live one. So I have now... I think it was just selecting the wrong mic or something to that degree, or something in the OBS I was using. So I think it's corrected in the future now. I'm definitely going to be checking and testing before I start progressing content. Again, I'm not clearing this glade at this point. I came in at Lumber Mill, and that's just because I didn't have the next Whisper set up. I didn't have it fed or evoked, as they call it. So that's why I'm also gathering lots of resources in these situations. Some of it is to make stuff, and some of it is to just feed into those whispers. You can see it in the distance at the top right now. That's where we're going to be heading. Always worth grabbing silver. That's something I am working on, because you can make stuff out of it for the house and things as well. And as you recall, as we came down that log from a previous video, there's quite a large sort of resource glade to the left and down from there. Okay, so here we go. Here's the Whisper. It's called Hunter's Vale. So this is what I keep pine wood around for. So that got 32. 32 is the total, but you can see how each one is going to give, like, those are 0.5 each. So you have to give twice as many as the total. And then it's just kind of what's left. Unfortunately, in this case, my bags were quite empty because we'd just come out from town hoping to get new items. So I'm going to dip into some of these little vials and things. It doesn't take much. But I have an overstock of those anyway. So we've evoked the Whisper, and that means that it's going to look yellow on the map, just like the lumber mill does and the windmill. Those ones we can fast travel to as well as from. So if we just came in and started, we could come back to the Lost Huntress very easily. And here we go. No additional buffs, just asleep. Here's the cutscene. So remember, Lara is the daughter of the sort of chief of this hunting village. And he said, they got my Lara. So let's see what happens. It's like one of the wolves, but bigger. She's having a bad time. Seems to be trapped inside its esophagus, kind of? It like opens up from underneath. Interesting anatomy. Look at that big splash head into the water. So if you look at my stamina, which is the green circle near my character, I'm pretty far from the camera at the moment. When that runs out, and now it's into the red, if he attacks me, I'm not going to be able to roll. So it is foolish to be burning this deep. Just kind of in there and staying too close for as an archer. There's people that have beaten the Lost Huntress, hardest difficulty at level 1 and stuff like that, and just take a very long fight and keep it clean. We're not at that place right now. We'll work up to it. So there's an experience potion that's going to give me an extra boost for the hour. And both the sleeping buff and the experience potion, those hour buffs, those are excellent in terms of the context of these videos, because that's about the timeline we're kind of aiming for. This one, I believe, is like 51 minutes, something in that range. So we'll use a big portion of that buff for our time. So now I've taken a few potions. Some of those are only a 3-minute buff, but that's still helpful to have. And then I put one of them in my belt so I can use them from there. I don't use them often, but this is a super difficult fight, so I figure I'd give it a shot. Shooting the fire is good, but if they end up in the water, the fire is going to come off. Fire then lightning is the most damage. It's for my current setup. Just getting walloped, though. Getting a heal in. It's tough to make the distance. I don't quite have enough stamina to go. The charge, it's like left, right as they come in. A big diving splash. They do like a big people's elbow on you as well. Look at those big swipes. So the burning is good. It is ticking away nicely. I'm going to run out of food before long, eating this often. I spend more time getting away and keeping my distance and just taking my shots more carefully. You realize it's a long fight, and you're going to have to just be patient and find the rhythm. I want to get the fire lit and then use my lightning attacks to... So that big charge thing, look at that purple. That ticks for so much if you're in it. Big swipe. About halfway now. Doing well. Just used up a lot of food in the early part of the fight. See? Can't consume another meal. So now I have to use it. Now I have to sit and use my runes to heal. And I was just eating the food too fast, taking too much damage. See, Sacra Surveyor up to 18. That's just exploring this terrain right now. Just checking out my other bow options, my other weapons, seeing if there's something more I should be doing for this combat. Taking a potion. Gonna have another go at it with this bow. See if it'll do some more damage. And I'm switching back, giving up on it already. So, fires up again. Some lightning on there. That splashes, that big splash, that does a lot of damage, but just swiping away at me. Yeah. I think I'm also at level 25, so there's some space to progress there. In the interest of this video, I'm not just going to grind out on this. It could be several wins before. So I'll wait till I get to 30 to complete, go up and clear out Marin Woods and get the extra XP. And then we'll come back down and deal with the Lost Huntress. Just like we did with the first 2 zones. Maybe we'll do it before we do the boss in Marin Woods, or maybe we'll do it as the final boss of the game. We'll see how it, or well, the final boss of the 4 sort of zones. So we're going to go up north now, out of town. This is the last of the 4 zones that currently exist until the 1.0 that comes out on sometime in October. So far the month is the only one announced. There's another player housing just up the hill right there on the left. Here we go, Marin Woods. So Birch again, this is also like a tier 3 zone. So similar trees and difficulty and stuff to what we were dealing with in the Lowland Meadows. You can see the danger level is 21 and we are 25. So the opening area is a pretty safe place to hang out. Here's a whisper. And I believe these first whispers, see how it doesn't give us the option? That means that it's automatically evoked. So I'm trying to get this fish, but my dude is kind of aiming up at something. So there must be a mob up on the hill there. Fish is going to be bass. That's a tier 2 fish. So we'll see what the tier 3 is. So before I even progress up, I'm going to go to the right here. See down there, there's some mobs on the ground. I can't really shoot down very well with a bow, so I'm going to have to go down and actually interface with them. See that sort of creature on the wall and the ladder up above? We're going to deal with that in a second. Research papers, always nice to have. Nice close quarters battle with the bow is always interesting. Trying to focus fire and deal with one of them first. Fire, then lightning. Excellent. Now we have one-on-one. Keep my distance. We'd like to be holding a little bit more stamina than I am in reserve, just so that I always have that roll available to me. But that's something to get better at and pay more attention to as we progress through the game. Because as our character levels up, so too does our skill. So again, just progressing through, grabbing resources. Fortunately, this is one of the vicarious things that video games let you do. You know, fight monsters, shoot magic, whatever it is, and pilfer every single resource in a region without damaging that region and causing it to have trouble, because they automatically regrow, and they regrow quickly, and they respawn, and it's inside a game. Whereas if we pilfer every resource from every region we get our hands on in the real world, we do irreparable damage, unfortunately. So there is a higher level area above this that we'll get back to from another angle, but this is all we can reach from down here. So it's good to kind of tease this out first, but you can skip this portion and visit it when you come around. But just remember to go into that waterfall. But a big portion of what we're going to experience in the Marin Woods is, you'll see just ahead here, there's these hands. See those on the left? There's like this plant thing with little hands or beaks or whatever they are coming out. So that's blocking our path. And a big portion of what we're going to be doing is clearing the way from those. So we have to find the sort of head of the plant, which looks like that, just ahead of the bridge. That's what we're looking for. And when you get one of those, you can clear away a huge portion of the land. So we'll go up and sort of, we have to use a dire nettle spore on it. So we got to go find one of those from somewhere. You can sort of walk through this. Here we go. The natural world is a study in balance. When a poison spreads, a cure rises to meet it. All predators become prey, all lines become circles. Gather me, the dire nettle, a small spore, yes, but I've learned that it alone can expose the creeping blight heart. We must keep the foul weed at bay, at least until nature once more tips her scales in our favor. Herbalist Trello. So when we get some flavor text, I'm just going to kind of jump into it. I don't know how long I took to read it in the original one while I'm doing voiceover. I'm just going to make sure to get through those as quickly as I can without making it illegible or difficult to understand. So we have to find one of these dire nettle spores in order to progress. And you see how they're grabbing at us like that when we get close? If you start, you can walk through them, but they will progressively do damage to you as you do. Love how you can just sort of go a little bit to the edge and reveal the, next room and stuff. So this little blue or sort of green thing here, there's a dire nettle spore. The nice thing about this area is if you clear it out in one day in one go, you're going to end up having to pick up the very specific nettle spore you're supposed to get from the very specific place. But if you keep coming back, those nettle spore spawning places will continue to spawn nettle spores. So you'll end up being able to sort of stockpile a few of them in your inventory. So when you do encounter one of these heads, you'll always have a nettle spore, a dire nettle spore ready to go. So you can see that clears the area that we were working with. And we can now progress, but that way is still blocked. Up ahead here, there we go, there's a boar. How boring. That is a big tree to let us cut it. That's a big birch tree. I don't know if you've seen a birch tree in real life, but that's an impressive example. So just now that the spore has been cleared, see how we can see inside the building. I'm just going to go through and check those areas and see what we can get to. That part seems to be connected to a different dire nettle thing, so we'll have to get that from another angle. We can now go across here to the right, though. As I mentioned, there's different ways to get on top in that bottom right area that I showed you at the beginning. Let's have a chat here.
Only the foolish or the desperate would try to reason with the Balator. Didn't realize that old Dasher Caretaker was both. Never would have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. Him pleading with them. He told them that the blight creeping forth from his temple threatens the whole wood. That we're all caretakers. The Dasher on the ground and Balator in the treetops. Brothers, and what do? Picked out his damn eyes. Clawed his face to tatters. Dumped his broken body on the temple steps. He said he was out of ideas. Guess they had one more of their own.
Very cool. Okay, so a little story beat. There's always some grim tales being told in this game. It's a dark space to be in, which allows us the permission to be dark ourselves and be a little feral and kill all the things and harvest all the resources and just act out that behavior because it fits the world we're in. Here we go. So you can see that same sort of alligator on the wall. We've now kicked that ladder down, so we've created a shortcut. A large portion of this game is about shortcuts. We need a watermill key in order to open that door. That they pop right out of the ground. Oh, level up. Outstanding. Oh, we're now 25. I thought we were 25 before. I mentioned that we were, so we were 24. Get some health. Starting to feel it in this deeper zone. Equipment load. And dexterity, as always. So equipment load. I'm trying to get to the place where I can have all 4 armor items in mesh. And still be normal sort of weight, it's called. Or class. So sneaking out the door without getting into the dire nettles. Now I'm on the roof. There's a ladder down just from where I was. I'm just checking out my options. I can get down to this one. Wander across. Where I am now, on top of all that. See, there's a boar creature to the right, and the same kind of paint as the alligator was on the one. Unfortunately, there's no shove, so you still have to actually fight them, even though they're standing on an edge like that. Maybe with a more melee class, I could do something to send them flying. There's these interesting sort of day glow paint creatures painted on the walls. You see the one down there. Further down, there's someone standing on a platform. Just seeing if I can take a pot shot at them, but probably not from up here. Not without dealing with those nettles. Different sound effects as you come on the roof. I'm going to drop to this upper roof area. So there's the face I'm trying to deal with. We saw it down below. But I do need a dire nettle spore before I can deal with him. So let's try going down this ladder instead. Nice little walking bridge. Combat. And there's that nettle spore I need. And he sends me right off the cliff and I die on the bridge. So, it's a good thing that we got that shortcut kicked down with the ladder, because now we're going to have an easier time getting back up there to get that nettle spore. So that's the next one we need to go after. You do not need this one in order to complete the level. So sort of to reiterate for new people, I'm trying to go for getting every or most of the spots in the area. I still don't quite know why I ended up respawning back here after that that death. I definitely dealt with, like, I bought the, or not bought, I didn't have to evoke. The first one in Marin Woods was automatically evoked. So I should have been able to fast travel to it. And it was definitely the last one that I interacted with right here. And especially now, I just came out of it. It's definitely the last one I interacted with. But something I think in this playthrough was latching me and bringing me back to that. The one in the Hunter's Vale. I'm not sure why, but I now have the watermill key. So let's go down here. For some reason I'm not attaching to the ladder. There we go. The amount of verticality in the level design in this game, the amount of going up and over and down and under things, molding ninth cloth and a light shield. Can't use a shield with, oh, look at the sword on him. Okay. And multiple arms. Pretty long health bar. So we've loaded up some fire, and now we want to deal with lightning. But we're going to encounter some issues because we're in ankle-deep water. So fire's not going to want to stay lit very long. So I'm going to play the, I always call it the coffee table game. Because it's when you're kind of playing tag as kids. And you run around the coffee table and say, oh, you know, if they go left, you go left. If they go right, you go right. And they try to climb over and you go around. So we're doing that. But we're playing with this pillar that has the ladder on it. And forcing them to kite around the outside of it and change the tactics of his moves. Just because we're in a small space, and our design is to stay as far away as possible, and he wants to get as close as possible. So we're going to use what works for us, use the terrain to our advantage, force him to skirt around that pillar. Just getting caught on some of those. It's pretty savage, but if it's a smaller heal and I happen to have some focus, it's a good idea if I have the time and space to use the rune heal instead of the food heal, because those are essentially unlimited. Really getting worked here. Eating a lot of food, but that's okay. I think I have, you know, when you start the game, you have 5 of food you can eat in combat, and with Plague Ichors, you can unlock them one at a time to work your way up to 10. So I don't know how far down that progress I am now in this particular save. Get the fire on, get that lightning going, which feeds back into my focus. Right through the pillar he can hit me though, with the reach. So probably getting pretty close to my food limit here. Got to be cautious. And definitely hurt. Keep some stamina in place. Even if I'm behind the pillar, I have to stay far enough away behind the pillar for the reach of the sword, because it seems to go through. There we go. Got him. Huge experience boost. Decent. And that's Plague Ichor as well. So that was a red little target, like the one we see down and left. The Corpse Smeared Blade, a unique blade. Let's have a little peeky peek. It is a strength blade. So this is not a strength-based character. There are some weapons, some swords and stuff that are dexterity-based. But this is just not one of them. Pretty neat one, though. It drains health while tainted. So it has a bit of a negative aspect on it, but I don't know how much time I actually spend with the tainted condition on me. So look for debuffs. Okay, so that's what was down in this pit. It's just the opportunity to kill that larger mob. But mind you, because that is the Plague Ichor, there might be a different standard one. But we still need to go back and deal with this head and get the dire nettle. So we're going to head back that way again. There's a few other items in this room. Try to jump over here and just get all these extra little bonus spaces. Sometimes you get really good stuff. I don't think I can make that gap, but oh, look at that. I can. With a little vault action. Research papers is the reward. And this walks through, and it gives me a different approach to deal with these dire nettle people. I think if I recall, this fight becomes a bit of a struggle, but let's see what happens. I might be conflating it with something else. One's still alive. Oh, we got him. Okay, easy enough. Okay, let's pick up the dire nettle spore. That's what's going to progress the level area. Walk right by the loot little bubble for that one dude. Can't feed it to any of these. It's got to go straight to that head that we see behind the wall. But there's a way around through here and through this little door. Let's give him the spore. Doesn't seem like you like it very much. So rather than just walking out there, let's see what we do. We learned that we can go up and shoot down at this person, but I think it's fine. We're not too concerned. Shoot some cold as well. Mixing it up. Again, we encounter a ladder that needs kicking down, and you can see there's a door to the above us. But I also had a look here. There's a way down and a tree that we can go through. And there's some silver behind it as well. So both super handy to have. Birch and silver are top tier materials. They're tier 3 materials. Dig site. Dig sites have pretty wide loot tables. So they're worth going after because it's pretty interesting the types of stuff you can get from them. The roots and coal and stuff is pretty common. You can get quite a gamut of materials. And even some items can be found in dig spots. So definitely worth doing. Like little treasure chests, just different shapes and different processes to open them. You can see down below us we could climb up that wall. And it's down to the waterfall down where the guy was telling us that super friendly story. Trying to cut this tree behind me, but it wants me to fight this boar first. Get a bonus boar from the top. And both burning. One down. There we go. Let's see if we can target that tree now. Boar hoof. There's a log you see to our right that we can climb up. Always worth sticking your nose into a waterfall to see what happens. This one does not pay off, but just being in the water allows us to see the dig spot. We can just simply climb up here. A couple combats. Some good herbs. Come down. Through a bee bomb or a butterfly bomb. I'm not entirely sure. Probably something we can get our hands on as well. There's another barrier with the dire nettles. There's one more person just behind the tree right now. Padding left and then right. I'm going to do this walk across. Oop, missed the jump. It's okay. Let's deal with this one. They got a shield, but the burn still gets through. Okay, let's get the jump. Good. Nice. From here we can climb up and get this chest from on top. Try to get back down without just jumping off the wall. Barely did it. Can drop into the log from the top. Always a satisfying maneuver. Good herbs, little glade here to pick stuff up. And then we're going to see if we can progress from here. And I think that's the edge of that area. But we can climb up from here as they come over to say hello. Quite a lunging jump that they did. Another huge tree to cut. Very satisfying. Definitely not a good idea in real life. Cutting down an old growth tree unnecessarily. There's a... Let me see here. Try to get it right. There's the dire nettle we need. Old Japanese proverb that says, if you feel like you are losing everything, remember trees lose their leaves every... No, that's not the one I wanted. I'm getting this quote wrong. Greek proverb. I thought it was Japanese. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they'll never sit in. Well, it takes a lot longer than just old man to do that. So even if a young man plants a tree, that's still the value. But chopping down an existing enormous tree that's lived 600 or 1,000 years before your time, that's kind of the opposite of that proverb. Okay, so we just unlocked a big area of dire nettle. We got this whole bottom corner of Marin Woods opened up, and that's going to allow us to enter new spaces. So if we climb up here, this is just the same spot we were at before. Another shortcut, basically, to access up here. And then we can leap across and see just ahead there's another whisper in the distance. This dig spot on the top of a tree stump, which is a curious one. I guess we're digging into the existing tree. Good to get these kinds of actions out vicariously through the video game space. That only hit for 31. It's not a big deal. Seems like I can shoot down with the flame arrow in a way that I cannot with my other shots, my regular shot. There's X. Get them burning. Finish the job. Those campfires come into play in the sort of late and final game, in the end game right now. But you can also use them for cooking stations. I'm going to feed the birch because I have quite a bit already after going through Marin Woods. I'm still processing spruce at this point, and it has a high value to contribute. Same with bass as 0.8. That's pretty good. Don't have a lot of good materials to throw in right now, so I'm not going to finish it, but it will keep in what I did. Going to the lumber mill. Kind of jumping to a few different zones in this particular one. So now that we have dealt with the reservoir and we drained the water, we've come in this cave before, but now we can get in this cave in the dry spots. But see, this ladder is still not available, or lift, or whatever it is, right there. So I think we perhaps need to complete the Lost Huntress first before we can do the greater portions of this cave, because this black area behind, you can get in there. There's just some other criteria or something we have to do first. So I think it might be that we haven't yet completed the Lost Huntress, because there's also an area in on Ashen Road in the top, in the sort of east, where almost fell off the thing, where there's an area that we haven't explored yet, and we will at the end game, because we'll keep working, and they're going to change and go after that huge wall with a face on it, the big door. So they're working to try to open that. Okay, so like a lot of these, we've had now about 40 minutes kind of thing, and if we're trying to make the total thing an hour, it means at a certain point we got to come back in and do a little town loop. So this is another portion that I'm trying to keep in the game. Makes more sense when I'm narrating fresh, but I kind of want to show you my understanding. So see, this ring has overall speed of 15. I already have the birch fishing rod. I'll try to keep up and show you what I'm looking at in the process. So I had a piece of mesh there. I am interested in mesh, but I already have 2 pieces of mesh. So I'm looking for, I believe, a hat and pants at this stage. Now that I know what I want to keep and what I don't from my inventory, I can go into the sisters. You can investigate your stuff in this inventory menu here, but I find it's just easier to deal with it outside of their store first. Just going to see if I can upgrade any of my items, and when it's already at 13 and the last thing you need is torn sinew, that's as far as it's going to go until you're in endgame, and then you can get level 14 and 15 items. There's 2 more levels left for them. So I'm going to use this as well as my the one I have in my player housing to be able to keep stuff processing as much as possible. I'm going to buy the research papers. I'm pretty flush for money right now.
This island, no. I chipped 2 knives and most human.
Big thing to check with him is these experience potions worth picking up. I already had 1 extra experience potion, so 3 is going to be plenty for now. Because I'll try to get the larger ones if I can. He doesn't always have them, so it's worth doing. I'm also using the forge there. You always want to do repair when you come to town, so you don't forget. See, again, 12 in torn sinew. Not going to progress beyond that. This one I need a bear paw, and this one I need just 2 more pine planks, and I can upgrade that one. So let's just go over to Whitaker, who is the woodcraft maker, and we probably fed his sawmill already. So let's buy chance set silver tools, chance set pots and items to use in the house, chance set bows that are good. So very useful for progress in this particular playthrough, especially. Each archetype will have a vendor that best suits them, and this is the one that we would get our weapons from. So just having a look at what we can pick up and what we want to buy here. I'm still trying to figure out why it keeps saying I am at 7 of 8 categories, but I believe that that now is sort of like confirmed that something isn't showing correctly, or that it's just not, one of the categories isn't functioning right. And I've seen some other videos out there where other people that are maxing out their house have the same issue. So picking up those vases, you can have 20 of each individual item in your house. You can have more than that, in fact, but if you have more than the 20, you're going to no longer get more points and bonuses from it. So it just becomes an extra item in your house. So 20 of each thing, but if there's like a red flower and there's like a blue flower, those are different. So you can have the red flowers and the blue flowers. 2020. One of my playthroughs, that door just where I was walking to the right is the player housing, so maybe I was just in zombie mode heading back over to that. I often record these fairly late in the day because that's when everyone is already asleep and on their way, so it means I'm going to have uninterrupted audio for the duration of the time needed to record the episode. Yep, feeding these pretty well. I still have a level 1 where I need copper ore, not bars. So something to bear in mind to feed the general goods, which is actually quite a useful one because they have sometimes like gems that affect the status on weapons. They could have rings. They could have research papers. Stuff that you just can't buy in a lot of other places. So very handy to have available. Greenwich's general store, general goods. I may have mentioned this in other videos, but anytime I'm committing resources to one of these, I want to be able to say that is where I'm committing those resources. So for example, if I have a bit of one item, I'll try to spend those first. So I'm picking up a few other stations just in case I don't already have them. And I think some I will and some I won't, which is okay as well.
Your true armor is your will.
So, what did you do at the moment?
They have really good little flavor text for all those little things that are going on as you walk by and as you come out of the smithy. We actually picked up a plague Ichor and we didn't go up and hand it to the Watcher in the Rookery, so they're potential other benefits there to be had. Gonna keep feeding spruce and get the spruce slabs going, or spruce planks going. So, you know, even though I've introduced that it would be good to be able to put items on top of things, obviously this is pre-recorded, so I didn't have that knowledge at that time. So I'm not going to be doing that with these extra items. I'm going to try to squeeze them into new areas. So this is my bed area upstairs, and I'm going to try to put a fireplace either in the corner or up against the wall, and I'm going to have to kind of move a few things to make that possible. Removing the lavender, removing the loot. Oh, there's a green spot, so there's some areas we can use. There we go. Probably going to clear out some of that in the interest of making a stack. So that we can get good comfort. And then we can keep the house looking relatively pretty, but having the points that we need. Got that loot. That's a nice spot for it. Put the jasmine back down, and now we have another flower. So see, we're at 99 comfort, and this one last flower is going to put us at 101 because it's a +2. Now this is the best stove in the game. So basically from here on out, I will be making food at home, which is a good idea anyway. But yeah, it's worth doing, especially because it gives you there's some food that you can make on this apparatus that you can't make anywhere else. Look how big the food tree is, because I now have all the food papers unlocked, so we can make some of these higher level foods, some of which I only have a few samples of, and some of which I've never made, but I happen to have bought the food recipe for. So I'll do my cooking here, and then I'll put it away here so that I'm not... I want to bring with me stuff that I don't mind using for one, but also I don't want, onesies, twosies of things, because that just eats up inventory unnecessarily. So I'm going to load shift those off after I'm finished doing all the cooking, and make sure that I have enough with me to do what I need to do, but not so much that it's eating up unnecessary space. So this one is this the workbench? Yeah, this is the workbench. So this is what lets you make pieces of furniture, and I'm just trying to find a green spot for it. It's got a pretty big footprint at the bottom, but it's not a very big item itself. I guess it is sort of left to right, but not front to back. So there's a scribe table there. There's a couple of tables here that are just decorative. See if I can slot it in here between there and the arch. See how it's going through the bed, the headboard of that one bed? It's not going to work. We're back down to 95 for the moment, just so I can place this thing. Having some clipping frustrations. There we go. Now we can place the builder's desk, I think it's called. But now, of course, there isn't room for this tanning rack. Now there is, as soon as we move the arch. And the table. Now we do have other tables, as you can see. I'm just going to tuck it into the corner for now, because we are using it to be able to get the comfort that we need to get the larger buff. Seeing if I can make a little nightstand out of this thing. Trying to get lined up straight on it. Seeing where they'll let me shove it. Trying that space behind the other table, but not being successful. So we're back down to 84 because we need to put a couple things back. There's a brazier that we're also holding and something else. Just trying completely alternate places to put it. And again, we have a smarter system for this in mind now, about especially the flower pots and where to put them and how to stash them away. So we'll be a little bit more organized afterwards, instead of just stacking and narrowing the hallway and making a less appealing place to hang out. So we're back up to 86 now from that piece. Gotta put our additional bed back. And that brings us up to 97. And then we have one more small table. So it doesn't really matter what bed we sleep in, but we do want to place this table back down somewhere so that we get back above the 100. This is definitely a pretty cluttered space. I'm not enjoying it. So typically it's fun to hang out by the fire, but if you're not cooking in the fire because we have that good cook stove, then it's less important, the exact location. Okay, so time to maybe get some rest. And I think that's going to be heading towards the outro of the video as well. So that'll put the buff back on and set us up for success. And now we can see the new buff. We're now cozy. So it's 50 health, 10 stam, 25 focus, and it's good for a full hour. Whereas before it was just 55 minutes. So definitely an improvement, but we can improve even further. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciation for your attention, gratitude for your time. Yeah, be well.